it's time to talk about William Shakespeare's tragedy play Othello. Now this video assumes that you already know about the key events in the play, because this video is about whether Othello is to blame for his own downfall. Now at first glance you would look at Iago and point fingers at him and say that he did all the dirty work and he watched as chaos arose because they all thought Iago's words were genuine, some people even calling him honest Iago, when in actuality the audience was fully aware the whole time that he was probably the least honest person in the whole play. Now, while some people would believe that Iago is fully responsible for Othello's downfall, I don't think it's just a case of pointing fingers at the villain. Who actually followed and believed Iago's words, his suggestions? Literally everyone. On that note, let's talk about this one point I saw from English Teacher Guy on a YouTube video. It brought up the fact that if Iago was truly a deceptive liar, then you would have to cut Othello some slack for believing Iago's lies. But if Iago just told some average lies and everyone believed them, then it really is Othello's fault for being so blind that he went through with Iago's suggestion of, well, killing his own wife. I think Iago is a deceptive liar. He has some of the play's most devious, vulgar and misleading language, and he does use this language to build on Othello's paranoia and jealousy when he is told that Desdemona is having some sort of flirty repartee with Cassio, which the audience knows isn't actually the case, but Othello very much believes Iago when he says Desdemona is cheating on you. Desdemona says to Cassio at the start of Act 3, Scene 3, "I will do all my abilities in thy behalf," and when Cassio starts to leave, Desdemona says, "Stay and hear me speak," but Cassio insists that he should leave anyways. This setup alone is enough material for Iago to convince Othello that there is something going on between the two. Now I will give Iago some credit, his method in planting the seed in Othello's mind is very well done. But if you look at the events that follow this, there is no way that Iago's language alone could have fueled Othello's downward spiral. Sure, he's good, but he's not that good. There are plenty of moments in the play where Othello could have taken a step back and said, hold on, should I really go through with this decision to, well, kill my own wife? The reason that he doesn't take time to think about it is because he's so blinded by jealousy, worried about his public image, worried about Desdemona being with Cassio, that he acts on impulse. A trait that betrays Othello in the play is his impulsive decisions, much like Romeo from, well, you know. Once he gets that suspicion, that's it. He's off. He's gonna murder his wife. Let's talk about jealousy. He gets jealous of Cassio very quickly once he gets suspicions that his wife is having relations with the guy. So he got angry, called her a whore a couple of times, and then killed her. As you do. It's really poor judgment that results in his strong jealousy. He's very stubborn when a new idea forms in his head. Once he gets that idea of Desdemona and Cassio having a thing, he sticks with it, he doesn't listen to his own wife's constant assuring that it's not true, and this being blinded by jealousy is what culminates in the play's tragedy. This impulsive and poor judgment also affects Othello's trust. Othello essentially trusts the wrong people in the play. Case in point, Iago. The person whom Othello's trust isn't directed towards is his own wife Desdemona, the person that the audience might expect him to trust the most. So why does Othello trust Iago more than Desdemona, his own wife? It could be to do with the role of male dominance in the play. It could be the immense trust needed for soldiers to work together in the military, or it could also be that Othello doesn't truly trust Desdemona as a person, because he doesn't genuinely love her as a person, but rather loves her as some sort of prize or achievement. I mean, let's not lie, Desdemona is living at the top of the hierarchy, the daughter of a Venetian senator. Getting to marry her is, in that society, a pretty big deal. A lot of characters in the play, like Rodrigo or Cassio, and Othello included, look at Desdemona as an ideal figure or an image, rather than truly appreciating who she is as a person, and Othello's love suffers from this problem. He treats his successful marriage to Desdemona as having won Brabantio's daughter, winning his daughter, like having won an award or a prize. Othello also says, "She loved me for the dangers I had passed, and I loved her that she did pity them." It brings up this idea that they love each other as ideal images rather than truly loving the person. One might say that if he truly loved Desdemona as a person rather than as some sort of prize or trophy, then he wouldn't have been so uptight with the whole Desdemona and Cassio thing. Instead, he's so concerned about losing that trophy to someone else that he begins to gain that, well, if I can't have her, no one else can attitude for the rest of the play. It's a bit sad. Finally, there's a clash of personal and military values. Remember that Othello, despite some racial tension established at the start of the play, is still a respectable military leader, using majestic and chivalric language. He has this chivalric reputation to keep, but sadly he has to keep it in a world run by social hierarchy, money, and personal values. Othello does have his own personal concerns, and this comes in the form of his wife's possible affair with Cassio. This gives Othello a choice whether to preserve his military reputation or his personal values, aka his wife. Eventually, he chooses to sacrifice his wife. At least, that's what he does first, and then he sacrifices his military reputation by killing himself afterwards, realizing that he's just made a whole load of mistakes. The fact that Othello prioritizes his military status can be attributed to his egotistical nature. Relevant quotes: "My parts, my title, and my soul. Keep up your bright swords, for the dew will rust them." And Othello's frequently mentioned honor. He's very caught up in his own image and with his wife in the public eye, and this isn't always a bad thing, but his obsession with his image and his wife only benefits him when he's in public. When he's in private conversation with Desdemona, this obsession with his own image and his wife betrays him in the worst ways possible. So yes, while I do think Iago holds a bit of responsibility for being as devious and immoral as he was, and even Desdemona is at some fault for insisting that she tags along with Othello to Cyprus, the matter stands still. It was always in Othello's nature to act on impulse, to let his ego get the best of him, which results in getting so blinded by jealousy. Iago may have suggested some ideas, but it was Othello who carried through with the crimes at the end of the day, because he made such impulsive decisions. Conclusion, or at least for my interpretation of the text, yes, Othello is to blame for his own downfall. That is my take on this argument, of course. You don't have to listen to me. This script was written at 1 in the morning on Sunday night. What could I possibly know?